Advisors here at Macquarie. I'll just give everyone a couple of seconds just to join, and then we'll kick off in our session, Employable You.
Hi team, just a second, make sure we enabled captioning.
Yep, I've got it here.
Yep, that's done.
Awesome. All right, we might kick off. So welcome everyone. My name is Jen O'Donovan and I'm one of the Career and Student Employment Advisors here at Macquarie. I'm joined by some of my colleagues this afternoon, Tyree, Erica, Venetia and Nikki. So thank you so much for joining us for this session. I'm just going to start screen sharing so we can see what's happening this afternoon. All right, so what we're going to run through is the Zoom protocol. I'll do an acknowledgement of country. Then we're just going to have a quick chat about what is employability, the employability equation, introduce you to the Macquarie identified 14 employability skills, give us some tips on how we can develop these skills, and then the exciting part of our session, the panel, where I'll be handing over to some guest speakers to talk about the MQ Student Employment Program, the Global Leadership Program, the PACE Program, and then we'll talk to you about how you can market these skills that we've been talking about this afternoon, and then some final tips before we wrap up. So just in terms of Zoom protocol, I'm sure that people are all over the place in terms of maybe working out of offices, working out of home. Some of you may be lucky enough to be on campus, but I would ask that if you wouldn't mind just muting yourself so we don't sort of get that feedback and extra noise. Now today's session will be recorded, and as much as I love to see everybody's face, if you're a little bit shy or don't want to be recorded, feel free to turn your video feed off. There'll be plenty of time for questions in the second part of the session, but I will ask you to put those in chat, but please only use the chat function to message everybody. And I'd ask that you don't message the panelists while they're talking so they don't get distracted. But as I said, I've got some team members who can do that as well. And we're very lucky to have people come and volunteer their time here today. So let's treat this as a learning space and be respectful of everybody. I'll just do the acknowledgement of country. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the Macquarie University land, the Wallumattagal clan of the Darug Nation. We pay respects to the elders and knowledge holders who have and continue to share their wisdom and knowledge, nurturing and sustaining our environments, cultures, and education. All right, so let's kick off. So this session is called Employable You. When we were sort of talking as a team about what we could do in Careers Week, obviously at the end of your degree, you want to get a job. You want to be employable, the most employable person you can be, because it is a competitive market. So let's just take a step back and define employability. So employability is the skills, knowledge, and attributes which make students and graduates more likely to gain employment. So employability skills, when I first started sort of in this sector, were what we used to call transferable skills. They're skills that you need to use in every job, no matter the title or the field. Now, these are sort of then split into two sectors. Some hard skills that you sort of learn. So they're sort of around, coding or data analysis. So if you're, an expert in Excel or Canva. And then there's also soft skills, which are communication and teamwork. So if we just understand that with something like communication and teamwork, you might gain that through working university teams, sporting teams, or even some of those casual and part-time jobs that you've got. But as you then move into sort of more of a business type environment, you'll find that you'll need to expand on those skills as well. So that's why they're called transferable. Now, we've probably got people coming from all different areas of the university, different faculties, which is fantastic. So I just want to introduce the employability equation to you. And what this says is that employability equals your qualification, which you're getting here, your degree from Macquarie University, plus your work experience. Now, again, this can be relevant work experience when you maybe go on and do an internship or a PACE unit, but also those casual and part-time jobs that you do through high school and university contribute to that. Then we also need to bundle in the skills that you're going to gain and improve on, and times that by your contact, your network of contacts. Now, hopefully for some of you, we come into multiple sessions during Careers Week, or you'll really enjoy what you see and interact with the team furthermore. And these are concepts that we'll continually talk to you about, enhancing your skills and developing your network of contacts. because it's important to think about that everything you do during your university time will help form and improve your employability skills to be part of your career going forward. So let's just break down this concept of skills a little bit more. So the way I see it, as we mentioned before, a skill is a learnt ability, so something like coding. But skills can also be something that we have that we're good at. So it might be like a strength, like a unique quality. So you might, for example, be really detail oriented. You might be the person when you're planning a trip knows where you're going to stop for petrol, where you're going to stop for coffee, and where you're staying that night in the hotel. Whereas other people will just pack a bag, chuck it in the car and see what happens. Now, neither's a good or a bad thing. They're just different types of strengths that we have. Skills can also be made up of personal attributes. And these are natural traits that we've potentially had from when we were quite young. Some people are really quick learners. They take to maybe coding or Canva, playing a computer game quite quickly. So that can be another natural attribute that we have. Then another part that makes up a skill is a competency. And this is where it can be a mixture of knowledge and behaviour. So if you can think about, oh, I'm pretty good at solving problems. I like to gather all the data and make an informed decision. Now that's a really good skill to have in your personal life, but it's also something highly valued by employers. So as you can see, skills can come about, and this is how we can grow and develop them as we mature and move through our career. Now here at Macquarie, we've done a lot of work and come up with what we call the 14 employability skills. Now these have come from a lot of research from some of our colleagues looking at both national and international data over the years. Now you're probably looking at this, and I've got to say this sort of reminds me a bit of a bingo card, and I'd like you to think of it that way, because what I want you to do is have a bit of a look and go, have I got some of these skills? Okay, communication. Now, what I need for that in a university setting might be able to write some papers and get up and do a presentation. But what about thinking for that next stage? When I graduate, how will I need to communicate with my peers, with my managers, with the stakeholders when I'm working in an office type environment? Now, I'm not going to go through all these skills. I'm hoping that it will entice you enough and you'll have a look on Employability Connect and find out some more about them. But just a couple more I'd like to highlight would possibly be teamwork, because I honestly can't think of a job where you don't have to work as part of a team, when you wouldn't be a team player and have to be a team member. So this is definitely a critical skill that I'm sure a lot of you have, but it's how do you explain that? How do you market that? And we'll go through that a little bit further in the presentation. Another one that's really come to the forefront is the whole idea of a global citizen. While Australia is literally an island, no longer do we work insular. So it's very important to think about the impact that we have and being aware of other people from different countries when we're thinking about working. Now, in terms of how can you develop these skills, it's all very well and good for me to say, here's 14 skills I need you to develop by the time you finish your degree. But there's many ways you can develop these at Macquarie Uni. So one of them is to complete an internship or two, whether that's face-to-face or virtual. And we're really lucky that Alyssa is going to talk us through her experience with PACE a little bit further on in the presentation. Another option is for you to find some part-time or casual work. And Erica's going to talk us through what Macquarie can offer from a student employment point of view for you as well. Another thing we have at Macquarie you may or may not be aware of is the Global Leadership Program. And I've got Amelia who's going to talk us through that a little bit further in the presentation as well. But some other things that you can do, and I'm hoping that a few of you were able to come along and come on campus. We were actually just having a chat about how great it was to be on campus for O Week, is to get involved with a student group or society. This will help you connect with some like-minded people, especially if you do that, very much in the area that you're studying. But we also have a lot of other various groups, which are, some of them are sporting, some of them are social, some of them are just for a bit of fun. But it's expanding your network of contacts and letting you meet new people. The other advantage of joining a group or society is as you come to maybe towards your penultimate or final year, is you could take a leadership role in that. Then that would give you another example of a skill. Imagine if you said you had to do the coordination and run the store for O Week. That's something that would be pretty well received by a potential employer. I'd also encourage you to think about joining your professional association. So find out who that is for what you're studying. That can have a lot of benefits in terms of maybe finding out about work, internships, and connecting with the people you need to know in your industry. Often the professional associations also run professional development courses, and depending on what you're studying, you may need that to continue on through your career as well. They often also have reduced or free membership for students and graduates, so now's definitely the time to get involved with those. Another thing that you can do to enhance your skills is find out about the competitions that are offered in the university and between the universities. So Univative, for example, is a competition that's been running for a little while, and that's where you work in like a business model and get some mentors. But we've listed a couple of others there for you to research as well. At Macquarie, we're really lucky to have the incubator on campus. That's sort of that wooden looking building up near Epping Road and near the Woolies up there. So you might want to think about getting involved there, doing your own startup, or just going along to some of the really interesting talks and sessions that they run. And fingers crossed, with the borders opening, you might even be able to go on exchange. Wouldn't that be a fantastic way to build up your global citizen skills? But as well as a lot of, personal resilience skills by having to move to another country and study while you're over there. Another one that you could think about is thinking about becoming a volunteer or a community member. Employers so many times tell us that they don't just want someone with a degree. They want someone who's been involved in a community, who can be part of what's happening there. So the other thing we'd encourage you to do is think about all these things that you can do and seek out opportunities where they're available. Now I might just hand over to Erica, who works alongside me as a career and student employment advisor. As you can see, she's got quite a lot of experience there with early career talent, organisational capability, learning, engagement and talent acquisition. And she's going to tell us a little bit about the Macquarie Uni Student Employment Program.
Thanks, Jen. Yeah, so I work part-time as a career advisor with Jen and my colleagues in the careers team, but I also work part-time in the Macquarie Student Employment team. And essentially, as we sort of touched on up above, getting paid, any paid casual, part-time internship experience will benefit you in terms of building your employability. So our team partners with employers, so employers from across the gamut of different industries. There can be a lot of local ones we partner with, but also not necessarily within Macquarie Park region. And basically, we partner with those employers. They come to us and ask us to help them to source Macquarie students and graduates for any paid employment opportunities that they have. So essentially, we act as a mini internal recruitment team, and we like to find our students paid opportunities just to help them build their employability. We also offer a program which is called the Job Ready program, which has a number of benefits, which I'll touch on soon. Essentially, if you join our Job Ready program, it's like registering with our agency. So basically, we take you through a recruitment process. We get you to submit your resume. We put you through an interview just to learn a little bit more about you, but also with your resume and interview, we provide you with, effective feedback as well, just to help you build your confidence in that process, so that when you are applying for employers externally, then you've got that confidence and you are job ready. So we'll take you through the program. We take you through tips and tricks on effective cover letters and writing your resume, how to put together a good application. And as I said, we do a mock interview with you, which we then provide you with feedback. So there's a link there, which I believe we'll be sending the pack out to participants after the session. Thanks, Jen. So this is just a little bit of an overview of the steps if you join our Job Ready workshop. So essentially, once you register your interest, you then come to one of our Job Ready workshops where we take you through some of those tips and tricks, and also just tell you a little bit more about what to expect. We help you. You then submit your resume and cover letter, and we give you feedback on that. And as I said, we put you through a mock interview, not only to give you feedback, but also to learn more about what it is you're after. You might be just looking at the moment for some casual work. You might be looking for work that's more aligned to your degree. We then put you through, you book an interview with one of our student talent advisors who gives you that feedback. And after the intake interview, we give you the feedback, and then you're on our books, as it were. And if any roles that we come up that we think may be suitable for what you've told us you're interested in, we also tag you against the types of jobs that you're looking for. Then we might push, send you emails basically with notifications about roles that you might be interested in. Might also just be worth noting, even if you don't join the Job Ready workshop, just keep an eye out for the roles that the Macquarie Student Employment Team do advertise on Employability Connect, because you can apply for jobs just directly. But if you join the Job Ready workshop, I guess the beauty is that we've met you, we know that you're ready, and you're confident to be presented to employers.
Awesome, thanks Erica. And I think maybe we should mention that it's a mix of roles that we offer both on campus and off campus that we're recruiting for. So for some of you might be thinking, oh, this sounds really good, but I haven't got a lot of work experience. Sometimes our on campus roles can be a really good entree into some of those, especially if they're sort of around, mentoring or those sort of roles where, like early hospitality roles, for example, and some of those on campus, they can be a really good stepping stone.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. Sorry, I should have mentioned that.
No, that's all right. I realised it wasn't in the slide.
Yes, no. We have anything literally from dog walkers and pet sitters, but through to those campus roles, as well as graduate and entry-level roles after you've graduated as well.
Awesome. So if you have any questions, we might save those to the end, guys. Thank you for that, Erica. Now what we're going to do is I'll move on and ask Amelia to come and have a chat with us about the Global Leadership Program. Thanks, Amelia.
Hello, I'm Amelia. I'm a fifth year and doing a Bachelor of Social Science, and I joined the GLP in 2018, my first year. Please let me know if my internet's glitching because it's not super great today or any day actually. Next slide, please. Thank you. So for those of you who don't know what the GLP is, basically it's an extracurricular program that Macquarie runs to kind of give you the opportunity to do more while you're at uni. So doing things like, building skills in culturally and politically sensitive kind of areas, or, networking, or showing initiative, or exploring your interests, that sort of stuff. So the GLP essentially, for me, has given me the opportunity to learn a lot about myself, as well as to build experience in lots of different areas at uni and also outside of uni. So I've done things like, as part of the GLP, I've gone on exchange. I went on a symposium to China. I also have participated in cultural days where I've been around the city with the GLP, exploring Indigenous Sydney or Cabramatta, those sorts of places. I've also enrolled in community courses. I took a language course in Taiwan where I learned Mandarin for 4 weeks. I've participated in online challenges, learning about sustainability, learning about innovation. And then there's the other side to it, which is conferences and speaker events, which GLP run for us to learn about lots of different areas. So things like, for example, some of you might know Vina, who works at UNSW building, how to explain it, but it's amazing. She's building lots of different furniture and things out of waste, essentially. So those sorts of people, GLP bring those people to us and tell us about what they're doing and how we can kind of get involved. So next slide, please. With the GLP, the program requirements are firstly workshops and then practical activities. So for undergraduates and postgraduates, the program is slightly different. With undergraduates, you do 10 workshops over the course of the time that you're at uni. So if you're at uni for 3, 4, or 5 years or longer, you do 10. If you're a postgraduate, you do 6. Then with the practical activities, undergraduates do 200 points, essentially, where you do different activities and they add up to different points. So things like going on exchange, I earned 100 points for that, or going to conferences, you can earn up to 40, I think. And then postgraduates just do 1 activity. So really the activities in the workshops are about giving you the chance to kind of explore different things, to build, skills and things that you might not really be learning in class. So things like cultural and political sensitivity, or, cross-cultural communication, leadership, teamwork, all those sorts of things. It's also important to note that the GLP is free to participate in because it's a Macquarie organised event program. So it's fully funded. You don't have to pay to join or to participate in it. It's open to all students, so undergraduate and postgraduate, And it's very flexible. So really you do it when you have time, and you kind of do what you want to do as well. You can really tailor it to what you want to get out of the program. No one's telling you like you have to do this specific thing to graduate. Just really you do what you want. So it's good fun. And I can't remember what I've got on the next slide. No, okay.
You haven't. That was it. If there's anything else that you'd like to wrap up
just with. If you're interested in joining, make sure you go to the website, which is mq.edu.au/GLP. And if you have any questions about the program, just pop them in the chat and I will respond to them.
Absolutely. So yeah, guys, I'm happy to start opening the chat now. So again, if maybe you can have it so that it's open chat so everyone can see. So if you've got something specific about MQSE, Erica can answer that. If it's about GLP, we'll have Amelia start answering those ones. I'm just about to hand over to Alyssa now. And Alyssa, thanks so much for coming to join us today. Alyssa is a graduate from Macquarie, double degree, Bachelor of Commerce in HR and Marketing and a Bachelor of Arts in Psychological Science. And Alyssa's going to talk to us on a couple of things. So she's going to let us know a little bit about PACE and how that worked for her. She's also going to talk and maybe touch on the PDP program as well as the Lucy mentoring program. And then she's also going to let us know a little bit about her role at Deloitte and how that still connects back in with Macquarie. Thanks, Alyssa.
Thanks, Jen. So thank you for the introduction. I don't really have to go over what I studied, it's all on the slide. But I guess, so with my degree, because I did a double degree, I was lucky enough to do 4 PACE units throughout my time. I think it's pretty common to normally do 1 or 2 if you've just got the 1 major. I'll probably focus mostly on MQBS 3000, which was the internship unit, which I did through Deloitte. I'll also touch on my other ones as well. But Jen, if you could just flick to the next slide, I'll just start for those that aren't aware. So PACE stands for Professional and Community Engagement, which basically gives you that practical industry relevant experience. And it's part of all of the undergrad degrees at Macquarie. So you get to do it no matter what degree you are in. So for example, for my commerce majors, which were marketing and human resources, I did MKTG 3004 and MGMT 3002, which was like the HR and the marketing project units. So what these involved was we worked closely with different industry partners. So for example, for HR, we did Konica Minolta, and we got to help develop resources for them and help them solve different business problems that they were struggling with at the time. So it was really important in, connecting that theory and practice and actually getting involved with corporate organisations outside of uni. I also did, for psychology, I did putting theory into practice. And so this was during the lockdown and COVID. So my internship was virtual for this one, but still got so much out of it. I got to devise a staff wellbeing strategy for support workers that were dealing with workplace burnout. And I worked in a big group of about 8 of us. So that was really good to build my teamwork skills and my leadership skills as well. I'll also dive a little bit more later into the professional development program and the Lucy mentoring program, which are 2 other great programs that I did during my time at Macquarie that really helped me, I guess, build those employability skills to get where I am today. So I'll quickly just touch on, with MQBS 3000, I did a recruitment-based internship with the graduate talent acquisition team at Deloitte, which is where I'm currently working. So just to give a bit of an overview, I was pretty much assisting with facilitating the end-to-end recruitment process for all graduate and vacationer candidates across Australia. So when I was an intern, some of the things that I got to do, I got to help screen candidates, run our assessment centres, make offers, manage the recruitment inbox, and provide feedback to candidates as well. So a very broad range of tasks, which was really good because I hadn't worked in a corporate role before or had any exposure prior to that. And then I also just want to touch on, so I will admit that when I signed up for MQBS 3000 and was seeking an internship, I was hesitant. I hadn't had any previous experience. I did work in retail, and I knew I had some transferable skills that I could bring into the role, but I'm sure as many of you feel, you probably feel like you're going to be in the deep end a bit, because I know I did. However, I can assure you that once you get started, it's not like that at all. The team were so welcoming and so supportive, and they know that most uni students haven't had that exposure before, and that's the whole point of the internship, to really guide and support you and help you figure out, if this is something you want to do or not. And another big highlight for me from doing the internship was really connecting all that theoretical knowledge from the units to real world experience. So for example, I did organizational psychology, and then I did I think it was HRM 250 at the time, but the unit codes have changed. And it was all about recruitment and selection. And when I started the internship at Deloitte, I actually got to facilitate an in-person assessment center, and it kind of clicked all the dots together of learning on paper what an assessment center is to actually running one and facilitating one, and kind of just connecting the dots was a really important thing for me. And I would strongly encourage, if you have the elective space, to definitely try and gain an internship while you're studying as well. And then Jen, I'll just get you to go to the next slide if you haven't already. So I'll just touch on this one with the 2 bottom points. So these were additional activities that I was involved in at uni, both during the final year of my degree, which really helped build my employability skills as well. So the first one, if you haven't heard of it already, is the Professional Development Program. And pretty much this is a semester-long program with different workshops, and they basically help you to develop what different career paths are out there for you based on your degree, how to effectively seek out work, things like resume and cover letter writing. We did interview prep, we did a mock assessment center, and I got to network with so many other different students and professionals as well. I also did the Lucy mentoring program. So if anybody on the call is in the business school, this is a female undergrad business student program, and you get connected to a female or male executive in the real world. And this really helped me build my confidence. I did this in semester 2 of last year, so my final semester, and I was transitioning out of uni and into my role at Deloitte. So it really helped me make me feel more comfortable coming into this role and trying to balance my studies whilst working. So that's, if anybody is a female and in the business school, I would highly recommend doing that one as well. And then if I have time, I'll just touch on a few tips and advice that I think would be really helpful when I was a student that I've kind of learned along the way. So anyone that does sign up to PACE or has the opportunity to do MQBS 3000, one thing I really want to stress is walk into the experience with an open mindset. So for some people and some other students that I've spoken to, they completed the experience and you may think, you know what, this isn't exactly what I want to do. I know for me, doing a double degree, I wasn't 100% sure what path I wanted to take, which major I wanted to focus on. So for me, doing the internship was vital in kind of narrowing that down and just getting some idea of what work is really like, essentially. But on the flip side, you know, even if you finish the internship and you go, this isn't something that I want to pursue, you haven't lost anything. You've gained experience, skills, networking, and so pretty much walking with an open mind and just try and go in there, network and learn as much as you can from everyone that's working. And then another thing to remember, which I think I mentioned before, and I can speak as well now working at Deloitte, is that we don't expect you to walk in and know much at all. We know that, you know, an internship might be the first exposure that you've ever had to corporate life, and we really just want to help guide and support you and help you really build that knowledge up. We don't expect you to know everything. I know I walked in thinking, oh no, like I've never done anything like this before. I'm going to be in the deep end. But like I said before, it was not like that at all. I always kind of say to people, think of it like you're a sponge and you walk in and you want to try and soak up as much knowledge and networking and experience as much as you can. And I personally tried to take that approach, and I feel like I got a lot out of my experience. Another thing, if you haven't already set up a LinkedIn profile, I would really encourage you to do that. And then as you go through your internship, or if you're in the programs that I mentioned earlier, like the PDP and Lucy mentoring, add everyone from uni that you're networking with, because you never know where those connections can lead you. So if you haven't set up a profile already, I would recommend to get that set up. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention was, don't be afraid to speak up and ask questions. I'm sure you've probably been told that no question is a silly question. I was certainly told that in my internship. And at the start, I was a bit hesitant to ask questions because I had so many, but it's very vital in, you know, making sure that you understand the task and you can complete it properly, rather than doing something, having not asked questions and then have to go back and redo things. It also, I think, shows curiosity and interest as well if people are asking questions. So I know as a uni student, that's something I was a bit hesitant to do, but now being on the other side, I can say that that's definitely not a bad thing, and would strongly encourage you to do so. But I think that's about it from me. I hope that that was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat, and for the rest of the session, I will respond to them, or you can add me on LinkedIn. If you've got any questions, I'm more than happy to connect. But yeah, thanks, Jen. I'll hand back over to you.
Thanks, Alyssa. That's great. Some real little pearls of wisdom in there. Sorry, and just when you're saying that, I was having all these images of, oh, wow, we should have done prettier slides. We could have had SpongeBob SquarePants and all the questions flying around and stuff like that. But look, I think that's true. I think what you said is really important there. And I guess, you know, you had such a great experience at Deloitte, and now you're working there helping involve the graduates and the people who do the PACE internships there. So, you know, sometimes the circle does run around I think really good, you know, think about those transferable skills that you would have gained, and doing things like the Lucy mentoring and the PDP program, you know, gave you that confidence when you're in that business environment, if we can call that, and that's obviously paid off and helped out. So guys, yes, please, I can see the chat going there. I'm actually not looking at the chat because I'm trying not to get distracted. I know I've got the team out there, so I'm sure there's questions coming through there. Tori, is there anything I need to address from the chat, or is it being answered quite okay?
Let me do a quick run through of the latest ones.
Thank you.
Nope, I think we're okay.
Fabulous.
Okay.
All right, I'll just keep going. Thanks, Tari. All right, so guys, now you've heard, you know, if we went back and we talked about what a skill was, what the employability skills, our nice little grid of 14, and we've found some great ways that you can actually gain these skills at Macquarie University. So there's through, you know, paid employment through student employment with Macquarie, and they're both on and off campus roles. And as Erica said, it's such a great program to give you that exposure to an Australian application process. Because for some of you, it may be the first time you're applying for a job in Australia. For some of you, it may be the first time you're going to apply like this for a job. You know, you may have had some dog walking or some babysitting or something like that, but actually going through that process of looking at selection criteria, formulating a resume, job application document, and having an interview is really important. And of course, that's a great segue for me to talk to you about how do you actually market your skills to employers? Because you've got these skills, you're starting to collect them, but where do you put them? How do you know about them? So thinking about how you market your skills to a potential employer, I think there's 3 great tools that we can talk you through. The first one is your resume. A second one is to have something like an e-portfolio. And the third one is in an interview situation. So let's start off with a resume. Now, a few tips that I've got here, and this, of course, I'm not going to give all the secrets away. This is a segue to encourage you to interact with us and come along to some of our other workshops. We regularly run workshops on interview skills. We also have some short videos that you can watch on that. Resumes is another one that we have a section of skills on and a workshop on as well. So with your resume, think about customizing your resume for each job that you go for. So look at the selection criteria and make sure you're answering that. We also really encourage people to think about their resume as a skills-focused one rather than the experience you've got. Because in our experience, students and graduates don't normally have that much experience. So focus on the skills that you've got, maybe rather than the tasks that you did. Make sure everything in your resume is relevant, okay? We often talk to people about that first 3/4 of the front page is prime real estate, and that's so true. If you are not catching the reader's eye, there's no way you're going to get through to the next stage. So make sure that what you've got at the top is really relevant to that job that you're applying for. And again, if you come along and work with us at the Career and Student Employment team, we'll help you enhance the content that you have there. Another thing that we have available at Macquarie, and this is really exciting, is something called ePortfolio. And this is a digital record where you can start, and it's free for Macquarie students. And the benefit of this is you actually keep it for the rest of your life once you sign up for it. So you can record what educational activities that you're doing. You can put evidence of your work, and rather than just, you know, writing and typing, you can have digital artifacts in there. So you can actually save projects in there, tag the people that you've worked with. And when you're ready, so we'd encourage everyone to sort of work on this e-portfolio, and I guess for want of a better term, keep it private. But when you're ready, you can actually share that with other people. So it may even be a potential employer that you'd want to do that with. And I'm sure, as you can see, if you went through this process of recording and documenting all these experiences and skills that you've got, and then you write that into a resume, and then you get to that next stage of interview, that can really help you formulate your elevator pitch, which is sort of that answer to that question of, hello, what made you apply for this job today? Okay, so it's a bit about thinking about how can I sum up my skills and experience and qualification and really win this person over in that first sort of few minutes of an interview. The other thing with an interview is something we call the STAR approach. And as I said, I'm not going to go into a heap of detail on that. You need to come to our other sessions on that one. But STAR stands for situation, task, action and result. And it's all about being able to tell a story about the experience that you had. And this will be made easier if you've customised your resume and kept a record of the work and education and the projects that you've done while you're at university. Having those examples to share in an interview will be really easy. A couple of other tips we have when you're in that interview is think about the job that you're going for at the moment. Make sure how you can relate the experiences you've had. So again, that's transferable skills. So if they're talking about teamwork in a business context and your teamwork experience is on the soccer field, that's okay. It's all about communication and working towards a common goal. So see how you can talk about that in that way. And of course, those skills, that skills word just keeps coming up and up again. So think about the relevant skills that you've gained and how you're going to market those in your interview. So just a few tips that I'd just like to get you to think about. And this is really how to make you employable you. Become a lifelong learner. Don't just think that when you finish university, that's it. Keep on. Now, getting involved with your professional association, being involved on LinkedIn, and keeping in touch with your peers is a really good way to keep learning. The other thing that I'd really encourage you to do is be confident. Don't underestimate yourself. Be positive, okay? Put your best foot forward. We often talk to students about marketing themselves when they're out going for jobs. So think about how you can do that from a real positive point of view and really sell yourself. Think about becoming a problem solver. So if there is a problem, think about different ways to tackle it. Take all that university experience that you've had, the data analysis, the critical thinking, and think about how you can actually solve problems rather than being stuck with them. Again, we'd really encourage you to build your experience, whether that's through paid or volunteer work, both within and outside of your industry. Another way is to bring out the best in others. So when you're working in a team, just think about who's got different skills and how can you boost other people up so that the end result is achievable. And normally that will really pay its fold further down the track. I think anyone who's sitting here today who's lived through sort of, 2019, 2020, 2021, all the change we've had to do, all the pivoting, all the adaptability, all the flexibility has really built up our resilience, but it shows that we can do things differently. Just because we did it that way for 10 years doesn't mean that's the best way. So employers love to see people who are forward thinking and prepared to try new things. Keep on working on your network. I can't emphasize that enough. Even Alyssa said it, so it must be true. And one of the easy ways you can do that, of course, is to get involved with your uni groups, but also look at the services and resources. So obviously we're here in a Careers Week session, so we're going to drum into you all the services that we have in careers and employability. But there's a lot of other great services on campus, such as what the library offers, the writing skills group, the learning skills group, and of course the wellbeing team. So think about how you can utilize those to really enhance and have a fantastic university experience. Think about being open and seizing and creating opportunities. Often we hear from students, they go, oh, well, so-and-so was really lucky. They got this opportunity. That sort of stuff doesn't happen to me. Well, how did they get that opportunity? Were they open to new ideas? Were they trying something different? Were they networking? So think about how you can sort of have a bit of that positivity coming through so that opportunities will flow from you. And this is something I think Alyssa must have read my slide. Think about your mistakes and failures. Ask questions. If you do make a mistake, ask questions. Why did I get that wrong? What can I do better next time to try and improve on it? And of course, we touched briefly, but learn how to market yourself and your skills. It's really an important skill that we can give you here so that you can keep going forward and progressing throughout your career. All right, Tyree, is there any questions there that we wanted to go through before we look at the resources available?
No, I've answered them all. Just a couple of quick plugs for the recordings for Careers Week will be available next week.
Fantastic.
We'll be emailing those out to all students. Someone asked about Innovative and Interchange. I don't think those programs are returning this year, but you can check out the What's New section of Employability Connect for other employer-led case study competitions and other case study competitions that are outside the university. And then finally, PACE is for undergraduate students only. However, for postgraduate students, you likely may have a industry engagement or other placement unit within your degree. So just check on that for those details. Check on the course guide for those details. That's all.
Fantastic. Thanks, Tyree. And I can see Amelia and Erica on the chat there as well, helping out if there's any other questions on that. So guys, please feel free to do that as I wrap up the session. All right, so just in terms of the resources available from the Careers and Student Employment. So what's your next step? What can I do now? If you come to any of my sessions, I always like to give a little bit of homework. It's not too hard, it's not too onerous, but I want you to think about, reflect, what have I learned here? How can I put that in play? What's the next step? All right, so now you've heard about some great opportunities that the university's got. How do you get involved? Okay, you're going to sign up for the Student Employment Program. You're going to find out more about when you do your PACE unit. You're going to sign up for the GLP program. Get involved on campus with those groups. Go to the library and find out about the resources available for you. Now, in terms of the careers resources, Employability Connect is sort of your one-stop shop. It's where you can find out about those workshops I keep talking about that we offer, but we also can give resume and interview advice. You can also have a one-on-one consultation with the team, as well as our plethora of online resources. And there's more info there about the Student Employment Program. Alyssa gave me a really good segue about LinkedIn. I think it's a fantastic thing that you should start doing as you enhance on your professional career journey. So even if you're just really new to LinkedIn, have a look around. It's quite easy to join up. It's really intuitive. Couple of tips though, get yourself a nice professional photo that you're going to use and have a headline that says something more than student at Macquarie, okay? And then start connecting with people, adding in your work experience. We also run a workshop on LinkedIn, but we also have some resources available there as well. Guys, if there's any questions, please feel free to email us at thecareers@mq.edu.au email. And remember, we're here to help you throughout your whole career journey. Now, very exciting news. We've just recently been granted access to have an Employability Connect Facebook page. So we'd love it if you guys could start following us on that, join the group. And again, so we have LinkedIn, but we also have Facebook. Great way to connect with us, find out what's happening when we've got employer events and various workshops coming up. As you can see, I literally took this still on Friday afternoon when we only had 7 members. I'm hoping after this workshop today, we should be able to at least quadruple that number. So tell your friends as well at Macquarie to get involved and follow us on Facebook. And just a plug for the other events that we've got on here for Careers and Employability Week. So you've come to session number 1. Woohoo, we did it. All right. Now think about, have a look, what else is going to be relevant here for you to do. We've got successful startups. We've got some things around CV writing and job hunting. MQSE are running their own session. There's another session on PACE. Dynamic support for students with disabilities and health conditions. We've got the MyLearn launch, which is really exciting. Marketing your skills in an e-portfolio, working in the public or not-for-profit sector, and building your Australian network for international students. Whew, we've got a lot going on this week. I guess Careers Week is when we sort of put all our, not all our eggs in the basket, but we try to run a series of events to really launch into the term. But then Tyree and Erica and myself and the team, we do have a number of events going on throughout. So we'll get employers hopefully coming on campus, we'll get employers doing Zoom presentations, and we'll have our regular workshops going on there as well. The other thing I'd like to mention is the Big Meet Careers Fair. At Macquarie, we've decided this year not to run a careers fair because we found that virtual just doesn't have the same interaction and there were so many COVID limitations. But we're really happy to partner with the AAGE, the Australian Association of Graduate Employers. So if you are available, it's a free event. All you need to do is pre-register. I'd really encourage you to go along. Do your research. Think about, who are the employers I want to work for? Who can I go and meet? Often these stalls are manned by a couple of recent graduates, a HR person, and even sometimes a manager. So really good reference point to find out about a company and their culture and a bit about how they're running their graduate program this year. All right, I think that's about all I've got. I'm going to stop sharing and see if there's any questions. I think there's a hand up from Radha. Can I help you?
Hi, Jen. I just had a question. Because I'm part of the PDP, so I just want to know, how do we contact the employees in the big meet, or would there be some opportunity during this week?
to contact employers? Well,
because I remember you guys gave us homework to ask them 2 questions and record it.
Oh yes, for the informational interview. Yes, look, I mean that you can do that a number of ways. So you can. The big meet's probably a bit late for what our deadline is, but there'll be employers that will be coming along to sessions here, or it may be someone that you know working in a company, like in a talent acquisition role of a company that you'd like to join.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. No worries. Mohammed, can I help you with your question?
Yes, please. Could I, when is the deadline to join for the big meet?
Pardon me, sorry? The deadline for the big meet?
When is the deadline for joining in the big meet?
To be honest, I'm not 100% sure. You probably just have to go to their website. It's on the 24th of March, and they're asking you to pre-register. So given that today's only the 7th, I'm sure if you just went to their website today, it shouldn't be an issue. And guess would be to close probably 4 or 5 days beforehand, depending on numbers.
Yeah, it's definitely still open, and you can also there's an app you can download to see what employers are going to be there. And so if you decide to go, you can plan your trip and plan your targeted list of employers that you'd like to engage with.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you.
Actually, I do have one more question.
Yes.
So the GLP, it's a network with professionals, peers, and it explores interests.
Yeah, Amelia, I'm going to flick that one to you.
So the GLP, it has a focus on global leadership. So that includes networking with professionals as well as your peers, building personal skills in your life, things like addressing racism or, inequality, all those sorts of things, building understanding of other global issues that are going on. And also just exploring your interests. So it's a whole wide range of things, and it's really up to you what you kind of take out of it, and what you give to the program is what you're going to get out of it. So yeah.
Awesome. Great answer. Thanks, Amelia. Did that answer your question, Mohammed?
Well, not quite. Well, and this GLP will also help me to get paid employment.
Well, it will give you skills that you can definitely talk about. It will give you skills that we can, we talked about marketing your skills through an e-portfolio or on a resume or through an interview. So it would definitely give you skills to do that. It would also expand your network of contacts and may put you in a situation where those opportunities that we spoke about, being open to opportunities, may occur as well.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. No worries. Saeed, I can see your hand up. How can I help you?
Hi, everyone. My question is for Amelia again. I'm currently doing volunteering work with my society, which is not part of the university, but it's like we do all the cleaning up and then we like organize foods and all that stuff almost thrice a week. So does that count into global leadership points or if it counts, what's the process to like get those points added?
Yeah, so that will definitely count. Any volunteering counts towards the GLP. It just has to be, to claim points, you have to complete a certain number of hours. So say if you're doing maybe 2 to 3 hours a week, you just need to make sure that you note down that you're doing 2 to 3 hours every week, and add all of those hours up to a certain number. So you can claim up to 180 points at different intervals. And you can also volunteer at multiple organizations. So they could be outside of uni, they could be at uni, they could be lots of different places. And you just add all of the hours that you've done up into a number of hours. So 40, 70, 180 hours. Then once you've completed all those hours, you go to the GLP's website, which is called Thrive. It's thrive.mq.edu.au. And once you've registered for the program, you'll have to claim your points through an online form that you'll find on your account.
Do we need like an acknowledgement from the organizations that I've been been volunteering for them?
Yeah, so you'll need to get, you'll have to keep sort of like a timesheet, and we have templates of timesheets on the GLP site if you want to use one of those. you'll just need to keep like a record of the hours that you've worked, the tasks that you've done, and then you'll just need a signature from either a supervisor or someone who has, someone in the organization to sign off that you've done those hours.
Thank you very much, Amelia, and I also thank everyone for like organizing this stuff. Really helpful.
Oh, thank you so much. That's great. Mohammed, I've got time for just one more question.
This is for Amelia. In a GLP, what benefits do points give me?
So are you undergraduate or postgraduate?
Yeah. Undergraduate. We'll finish this semester.
Okay. So with the points, really the points is like, how with your degree you have credit points, and yes, every time you do a subject, you get 10 points. Yes. It's essentially the same thing, but the activities add up to different points. So say exchange gives you 100 points. Volunteering might give you 40 points, that sort of stuff. So it all just adds up in different amounts. So it's not it's the same number every time. Once you get to the 200 points, how we know that you've graduated, essentially. So it's the same credit point system, but it's the GLP's own system. So if you don't get the 200 points, it's fine. You just don't graduate and you just don't get a certificate to say you've finished the program, but you've still participated, which is great. And I would encourage you to do that anyway.
And it's fine even if I have just one semester left?
Yeah, it's totally fine. You can join, don't have to finish. There's no penalty or anything. So, you'll still get things out of it. You'll still, all of the benefits will still be the same. You just won't get a certificate at the end to say that you've completed the program.
But let's say even after I graduate, can I still finish it or not?
No. So once you're not at Macquarie, you can't do the GLP anymore.
Okay. But it's still beneficial even if I do it.
Absolutely, yeah. And anything, anything that you do that's gaining your skills and, as I said, exposing you to different opportunities and expanding your network. If you remember back to that employability equation, I think it's really beneficial to do. Guys, I'm going to wrap up this session here because I'm conscious that some of you may want to go to another session or you may want to go to another lecture. So thank you so much to my panelists, Erica, Amelia and Alyssa, for all those words of wisdom that you gave me. Thank you so much to my team in the background, Tyree, Nikki, Venetia, and I'm going to have to name Erica and Amelia again because they were working so hard on the chat for me. So thank you for that. Students and potential graduates who've come along today, I hope you really enjoyed the session. It was a pleasure talking to you about Employable You. We hope to see you at some other careers events this week. Thank you. Take care.
Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
One thing.